to you today about nannying. Since I was a little girl, the only job that I ever had was babysitting little kids. So knowing that I was coming to college, I knew that I needed a job, but there was nothing that I wanted to do other than just watching kids. That's all I knew how to do, that's all I wanted to do. So a few months before I came to college, I applied through an online nannying babysitting website called care.com and also Sitter City. I decided that I would apply for as many jobs as I could, and if they wanted to get back with me and interview me, that would be awesome. So I had a call one day, and it was a lady who was wanting a nanny, someone who could take their kids to and from school, help them with homework, just kind of hang out with them. They were older kids, and I really have never watched older kids before. So I was open to the idea. I actually had another call as well and noticed that I wanted that more, but realized when I went to go text them that I wanted that job, I was actually texting the other lady who had called me. So from the very beginning, I knew I was placed with this family for a reason. Even though I didn't choose that, I was placed there. And so from the very beginning, I was kind of resentful going in, but knew that I was supposed to be there. I meet this family on the first day, and I had a 8-year-old and a 13-year-old. These kids were very well behaved. The dad is he owns a company, a light company, where he does Christmas lights, and then the mom also owns a wine company. So I came into a family who were very business-like minded, and people that were very different from my parents when I grew up, the way they disciplined, the way they talked with their children, the things they said. It was a very hard adjustment for me. With nannying, there are so many pros and cons to it, and some of the negatives are that there have been times where I would talk with the young teenager. She would have issues with just things in life, teenager things, and I realized in a short amount of time that I was here for this young girl. There was a story that she had just told me recently, that there was a moment where her mom accused her of smoking something the night before. And this young girl is very sweet, never would do anything to displease her parents. Though she has lost her parents' trust in certain situations, she is very hardworking and eager to gain that back. And so it crushed her when her mom accused her of doing something that she never did. It turned out it was just her dog that vomited in the corner that night. And through it all, she was very hurt, and even was kind of had a bad attitude towards her mother. And I realized I had this moment between I could be on her side and go against, saying, yes, ugh, why would your mom do that? But I decided in that moment that maybe there's a time for me right here to share some insight, some wisdom. I shared with her that even in those moments of being accused of doing something wrong, that you need to still honor your parents and not to talk back to them and things like that. And don't get me wrong, there have been many times where I have wanted to quit this job. I hated it for a while, but realized that I needed to be faithful in the position that I felt like I was supposed to be in. And there are also some positives. The pay is great. You are treated like family, and you know they would do anything for you. It's kind of a hard line, though, in some moments, though. There have been times where I have had many confrontations with them. Moments where I would crawl in my skin and want to hide and not go to work because I knew that they would talk to me about something that maybe they were not pleased with, or something that I have done that offended them or their family. Things that I could not prevent and things that I sometimes were just naive to. with being treated like family, there have been times where the dad has tried to speak into my life, not knowing exactly where I come from, my beliefs, my background, my parents. He would quiz me and he would tell me what I should do, what he thought was right, and expect me to follow through with that. There have been many times where I just sat back, just took it in, and didn't say anything, but I knew at some point I needed to stand up for myself and to share with him, maybe this isn't such a great idea for me. I'm going to do it how I think is best fit for me in my life. Those were tough moments because they felt like they were over me and my authority in a way. Yes, they're my boss, but at the same time they had no position to speak that kind of wisdom into my life, especially when their beliefs were a little different than mine. The way they did life, the way they even disciplined their kids were different than what I was trained and what I was disciplined in. So to meet common ground with them has been a struggle, and I've been working with them for these past 3 years. So with nannying, it's very hard to find that line of you're my boss and the line of you're a parent that sees me as a daughter. So I had been battling with it back and forth, and just knew that I just need to stick it out. I just need to not worry about, speaking with the young girl and just not being on her side and not giving in to what she thinks about her mom or what she thinks about her dad, or a lot of things that I know from the daughter that the parents don't even know that I know. A lot of things that I've had to coach and kind of parent her in because her parents weren't doing that job. I became her big sister, and with me leaving in a week, she's torn up because she feels like she's all alone. So I knew that I was placed in that for specifically those kids. And though it has not been a smooth ride, there have been many things that I have learned from working with them. I learned to grow thicker skin, to confront, and just ultimately to stand up for myself in a lot of situations. But I also learned the importance and the heavy weight of just mentoring these young children. Even though I was working for them, I felt this heavy responsibility to be a walking example of what they should talk like, how they should dress, how they should act in certain situations. I felt like I was placed there just to teach that and to be an example for the both of them. And I just want to say that you have so much power in just how you live your life, that it's just, even with just a word, you can demolish everything that you have ever done, all the things that you have accredited yourself to. So with nannying, there is a heavy responsibility to watch somebody else's children, to speak life in them. There have been pros and cons, like I listed, but out of it all, there have been so many lessons that I have learned, and I am so grateful that I did not give way into quitting or stepping back because of that heavy responsibility that I felt, and knew that I had to be that example for these two kids. And so nannying, it was great. I'm still doing it and it's good, but I learned so many lessons through it all, and I hope that you, with whatever you do, whatever job that you have, that you live an example for young kids or even for adults who see you. Just a smile in your day can change someone's attitude and mood for the rest of the week. Whatever you have to say, encouraging words, they have so much power. Just the way you walk has so much power in your everyday life, and I hope you're encouraged by this story.